What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me over on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that is Scott Savage. You can find him at Savage. Scott, happy Friday, brother. What's happening today?
Another week has come and gone so quickly, and here we are with another pretty packed show.
Absolutely, but the show is just beginning, and the week isn't going to be over until tomorrow at midnight, because the Covenant House Main Mission Charity stream is coming up on May 15th. That is tomorrow, starting at noon. The event will bring together professional gamers, content creators, casual streamers, and their audiences to help raise money and awareness for real everyday heroes, youth experiencing homelessness, survivors of sex trafficking, and those at risk. And it's all hosted by the ITG crew. Come out and support a great cause. For more details, head to mainmission.ca or twitch.tv/CovenantHouseTO. We will be there, like I said, all day, buddy. We're going to be live, 12-hour stream, raise some money, make a good cause, help a good cause for the troubled youth that we have down in Toronto and surrounding areas, and give them a good place to go. Covenant House does a amazing job over there taking care of our youth and supporting, and see what we can do to kind of make them have a better life than what they're dealing with currently, right? So
yeah, it's hard to argue with something like that. There's a lot of people that are skeptical of certain charities or events, but this seems to be one that's completely clean.
No, absolutely.
Can only go to a good cause.
That's for sure. But coming up on today's show, it's Google Stadia is doing well. E3 details are here, and Rainbow Six Quarantine, is it out this year? We'll find out. But if you can't join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, no big deal. Hit us up later at InsideTheGame.ca, YouTube, TV streaming networks around the world, and podcast services around the globe. Scott, you ready? Let's get into it, buddy. It's E3 because E3 2021's virtual experience and app has been detailed. E3 organizers, the ESA, has revealed the structure for E3, which is going to take place entirely digital June 12th to the 15th. Dude, I am pumped. I can't wait, man. I love E3. So it's nice to see it back.
Up. Yeah, that's it's good close. That's not long. That's not long away.
Not long at all, dude. But E3 2021 will mainly rely on two ways to deliver content: an online portal and a mobile app. The two will form a hub of all the show's content in its duration. This is how the public will be able to visit virtual booths, watch live streams, and participate in the show's various events. You'll need to create an account for this, which will also give you access to a form and some customization options for your avatar. So far, a number of publishers have signed on. The list includes Microsoft, Nintendo, Ubisoft, Take-Two, Capcom, Square Enix, Sega. Dude, every time I just say Sega, you know, we know where we go, right? It's just, you can't help it. Sega. Warner Brothers, Bandai Namco, and Koch Media. Konami was supposed to be a part of the lineup, but pulled out at the last minute. Some of those publishers, such as Ubisoft, are hosting their own events under E3's banner, and will others simply show off their games at the show? Dude, who are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, that's a
heavy
tough
question.
One to answer.
That's a heavy question right there.
I'm hoping Nintendo comes out with something that's jaw-dropping to explain it easily. You know, I hope they come out with something that is a surprise, or perhaps a big IP that we've forgotten about, or even just Splatoon 3. I would be very happy with an announcement with that. Sega is always a question mark. They're related to a lot of projects that I've enjoyed for sure.
Yeah.
And Square Enix is kind of one of those big groups. I expect something, you know, of value coming from Square Enix.
Absolutely. Obviously, Microsoft, I think, is one of my biggest ones I want to see. I want to see Fable. Dude, I really want to see Fable. I'm curious to see what Warner Brothers is going to show off, because I don't think any of their titles are really coming out this year, right? They've delayed Arkham Knights. They've delayed this. They delayed that. So there's just the Justice League game is in the works, but it's not coming out this year. So, like, what does Warner Brothers have to show off? I was really hoping Konami would be there and then surprise us with a Metal Gear remake. But surprise, they pulled out, and maybe they just have nothing to show. Obviously, the lineup too, when it comes to the world of Microsoft, also falls into the world of now ZeniMax too, right? What's Bethesda have up their sleeve? Starfield is a big thing this year. I think we just talked about the fact that they have bought ad space for Starfield. Tells me right there that they're looking to push that, right? So, do you think we should see that? Don't you think, Scott?
I think it would be the right time to see something, even if it's just a little bit of a trailer, a little something to show us the actual workings of the game. You know, something recorded in engine. I think it's about the time for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited about Fable, but I'm also really excited if anything comes out under the Perfect Dark name. I'm gonna be losing my mind.
Well, that's fair. I'm sure they're going to have something up their sleeve for Perfect Dark. They did announce that it's coming, right? That they are working on something with the world of Perfect Dark. So I think we could expect to see a little teaser. I don't know how much we're going to see. I think we'll see more when it comes to the world of Fable. Rare is also working on that other title too, Everwild. Dude, that game looks sick. So I'm hoping to see more on that. There's just a lot of hopes when it comes to the world of E3 and what people are going to showcase, right? We even talk about Ubisoft. They just delayed Skull and Bones, which is kind of a heartbreak for me. I really wanted to see where that title was going to go. But we're not going to see anything. We might see a trailer this year, but no actual game release. They did talk about well, we'll get into it. We're going to be coming up on some of the other titles from them. So before we keep jumping ahead, let's get into the world of EA. EA wouldn't say if Battlefield 6 is getting a battle royale mode. Really? Is this really a secret, Scott? Come on, let's. Scott, take this one, dude. This is all yours.
What kind of battle royales have surprised me this year? Well, Tetris Battle Royale. I never expected that one.
That's fair.
Pac-Man Battle Royale.
Dude, it's so good.
Who saw that coming? And that was quite an enjoyable one.
Awesome.
Personally, I'm holding out for Joust Battle Royale. That's the one that'll get me excited.
Yeah, for sure.
But when it comes to these massive shooter series, I don't think it's totally alien of a question. I think it kind of, when there's a new release, everybody's kind of curious. Is there going to be a battle royale in this one? Or is it going to work similar to how Call of Duty does Warzone, where it's a separate self-contained entity that takes updates from future releases? Right. It's really up in the air right now, and I don't believe Battlefield has said anything. Actually, they've been quoted as giving the message, they have nothing to announce at the moment on either the annualized Battlefield or the nature of the modes coming to Battlefield.
Sure.
They will be adding more news, will be shared after the reveal trailer, and that means so you'll hear a lot more of us in the months ahead, is what they're saying. So not a hard no,
but
for sure, but nothing that can really be confirmed either. And that is a PR safe move
for sure.
But it certainly has me wondering.
Are you expecting a battle royale to come out of this?
I sort of am. At first I was skeptical. I thought, no, they're not going to try and enter the space. But then I started thinking more and more, and the Ring of Fire or Firestorm mode that they had in Battlefield 5 was very interesting. There's something there, and it hooked me. And there was a number of players that played it until its last day, even though it was considered a commercial failure.
Sure.
So I'm hoping that they just kind of learn from that experience, take, maybe borrow some aspects of what Warzone is doing, what is Apex doing, and kind of find their own space. I think that would be beneficial for everyone.
No, absolutely. Yeah, we'll see what happens in the future when it comes to Battlefield. We're also going to see the very future of Ubisoft, because Far Cry 6, Rainbow Six Quarantine, The Division Heartland, and Prince of Persia, all set to arrive before April 2022. Ubisoft's earnings call for the 2020 and 2021 financial year took place today and revealed a lot of information about the status of its in-development roster of games, as well as sharing insight into how the company plans to shift its focus from relying on AAA games and expand into high-end free-to-play titles. The publisher also offered some updates on previous announced games set to launch on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Far Cry 6, Rainbow Six Quarantine or Parasite, Riders Republic, The Division Heartland, the remake of Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, and Roller Champions are all set to launch by March 31st, 2022, the end of their current fiscal year for Ubisoft. Once again, open world pirate game Skull and Bones has been knocked back. Blah, blah, blah. Dude,
that's
just
a sad one.
Yeah, that is a sad one, right? Because honestly, I think Skull and Bones is the one I'm really kind of looking forward to see what comes out of Ubisoft for this. They took the reins when they went with Black Flag, right? Everybody got into the whole boat mechanic, and you've seen it ever since Black Flag innovated on moving forward with the Assassin's Creed franchise. So now when they're able to do this whole pirate take on it, it's obviously a competitor to the world of Sea of Thieves. Let's be honest. That's where it's going. But it has this more realistic spin on things, right? So I'm definitely curious to see where that's going to go. Excited for Rainbow Six Quarantine. Or Parasite now, I guess that it's called. Dude, either way, it's still the same game. I get why they changed it because of the whole COVID pandemic. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, it's the same thing. Parasite, Quarantine, you're still getting the same message out there. So regardless, I don't know why you changed it. And then when they talk about the world of free to play, it's the Division Heartlands. So I'm curious to see where Heartland is and how that one lies, Scott.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on Division by any measure. You've played quite a bit more than I have, and so I'm curious to see how this one measures up to a full release.
Sure,
but I'm still confident that the essence of the game will be there.
Absolutely, I think that'll be there too. They say a high-end free-to-play, right? So you're not going to get what I guess I could classify almost as a cheap battle royale-esque free-to-play MOBA. Or a mobile game, you know what I mean? It's not going to be that kind of take. They are going to go for a high end, but what are they going to do then to keep you hooked and to keep you spending money, Scott? That's the other side. That's the biggest thing, right?
Is it going to be another venue of loot boxes, I wonder?
Oh, yeah. Well, a battle pass, a season pass. They are always updating the Division 2, even right now, that they came out and stated that the fact that the players are still supporting Division 2, that they're giving us more content for the Division 2. Now, I haven't been back in the Division 2 in a while just because, dude, we're so busy right now with the show. But at the same time, it's always one of those games, like, I look back and go, I had such a blast playing that game. When the Division 2 first launched, I was like, I don't know about this. And then Nate and I got into it, and then Kyle joined us, and then Ben joined us. Dude, you roll that game with 4 people, it is freaking awesome. It is an absolute blast to play that. I love the world of Division. Yo, Agent Howell, thanks for the Prime sub, dude. Appreciate that. Now, Scott, are you ready for the topic of the show?
I'm ready.
Let's get into this because Google says Stadia is alive and well. GamesIndustry.biz, James Batchelor had this article up there, and I encourage you to go over it, hit over to GamesIndustry.biz and check out the full article. I kind of pulled pieces from it. It is awesome. It is an awesome read to see where the future of Stadia lies, because we've obviously been skeptical ever since the closure of Stadia Games and Entertainment and to see where the future lies for Stadia. But according to Nathan Ahern, the two Stadia, he says that the game is actually doing very well and it's alive and there's no problems for Stadia. Developer marketing lead Nathan Ahern and two Stadia Maker Studios offer insight into the status of the cloud gaming service. Google Stadia has been grabbing headlines in 2021, but perhaps not quite in the way the internet giant would like. Well, that's for sure, eh, Scott?
Yeah, a lot of skepticism.
Absolutely. First, the company closed its internal development studio, Stadia Games and Entertainment, less than 2 years after service launched. Like, that hurts, man. That's a big step back when it comes to that, seemingly putting an end to the hope of ever seeing first-party titles that truly demonstrate the full power of the cloud gaming service. In doing so, Google lost key talent like former EA and Ubisoft producer Jade Raymond, who has since received investment from PlayStation for her new venture, Haven Studios. All went quiet until earlier this month, when Stadia's head of product, John Justice, resigned, and 6 members of staff went to join Raymond's studio as well over at Haven. Dude, so they're losing people over there, right? That's never a good sign. Yeah. But at the same time, you got to take a step back. If they closed what was basically essentially their first-party development in-house studio, where do they go? Because they're no longer making games there. They got to go somewhere.
Yeah, that's what these people do for their profession. So
exactly,
they're not going to be repurposed in a meaningful way. So it makes sense that they've found their own place. It's good that there is somewhere for them in Haven Studios.
Absolutely, yep. Given the mixed reception at launch, previous complaints around a lack of updates about the service, and even the fact that various witnesses in the ongoing Epic versus Apple trial can't seem to figure out whether Stadia is even still operating, dude, that baffles my mind. It's all too easy to imagine the cloud gaming services days might be numbered, but developer marketing lead Nathan Ahern tells GamesIndustry.biz that the platform is alive and well. we're well on our way to over 100 new games launching on Stadia in 2021, and we're continuing to make Stadia a great place to play games on devices you already own, he says. I'd tell any non-believer to take notice of how we're continuing to put our words into action as we grow the Stadia Makers program and partner with AAA studios like Capcom, EA, Square Enix, Ubisoft, and others. When pressed for more information, Ahern said Google was focused on delivering value for our partners and on behalf of our players. He pointed to the release of the newest title, obviously Resident Evil Village being there, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Resident Evil 7. Those titles came to Stadia Pro, so it's not like we're getting lackluster titles over there, Scott.
Oh no, it's they are able to capture quite a lot of what's going on and stay relevant. Ubisoft Plus being an additive to the service that brings in a lot of the current UB projects.
Oh man, that's huge. But it's another expense on top of what you're already paying for if you have Pro. Dude, I have Pro, and the lineup of games I have in my library is absolutely incredible. The biggest problem when it comes to Stadia is that there's nothing different over there than what I already have on other platforms, right? When I take a look at my Xbox, or if I take a look at my PlayStation library, those titles are already there. That's the biggest downfall. And then when they decided to get rid of Stadia, games and entertainment division, dude, that was a heartbreak for us, because now what do we get when it comes to exclusives on Stadia? Nothing.
Yeah, and I was looking for something new, something different to shake up the space. You know, Coke and Pepsi, they really need that RC Cola around to keep the big guys on their toes, and that's kind of the way I perceived the Stadia division.
Absolutely. I think Stadia is a great platform. I personally love the platform. I've used it numerous, countable times. Like it's one of those easy pick up and go platforms. Dude, my biggest problem right now with Xbox or my PlayStation is that I have no space. Dude, I am so tapped for space. I have maybe half a dozen or so games on my consoles. And then the minute we get something for the show to review, I have to delete something else to put this thing on. And it's just like, man, it's an endless cycle. Dude, I go to Stadia, I just click my app on the phone, I click the game, I play the game, and that is it. There's no updates, there's no downloads, there's nothing. I enter my code, and away I go, or I purchase the game, either way. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty behind Stadia and where it lies. Now, how it runs is really dependent upon your internet speed, right? That's the other side of it. So you see great games there, but if you're already invested in those games on other platforms, then why would you invest over on Stadia for the same game? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll see what the future holds. But he says we're not shifting pressure onto independent studios we work with in Stadia Makers, he says. The whole point of the program is to support their addition of Stadia as a launch platform for their game, not add pressure or make anything harder for them. So he's talking about the indies, right? He's talking about, okay, now are we going to expect to see a boost in indie titles coming over to Stadia because they got rid of their first-party studios? No, he says they're not. That's not what their plan is. They want to take the Studio Maker program and help indies develop games, and they're not even going to be exclusive to Stadia, which I don't understand that either, Scott, because why not? You don't have exclusives. So why not take the opportunity then to have an exclusive come to Stadia, even if it is an indie title? Dude, indie titles are some of the best games we've ever played.
Yeah, I think it comes down to what they can offer the developer themselves, and it maybe it's kind of perceived as you putting all of your eggs in one basket. If you're the developer to put it all on Stadia exclusively, it runs a little bit more of a risk because we know there's so many millions of Xbox users and the like.
Absolutely. Yeah, it kind of makes me curious to see how many people are actually playing right now on Stadia, how many people are invested into this platform. Like I said, like I'm obviously there. We've introduced Corey to Stadia. He likes it. Dude, he actually played Cyberpunk there, which was the best place to play Cyberpunk. That's a whole other show. But either way, that's how he got introduced to it, and he really enjoyed it too, because it's so easy, man. That's the biggest thing, right? It's so easy, Scott. But let's move on to some Horizon Forbidden West. Studio director teases the PS5 DualSense haptic feedback for stealth players. Dude, I'm a stealth player. This is right up my alley. I cannot wait. Horizon Forbidden West will take special advantage of the DualSense controller to add an extra dimension to the handy act of hiding in tall grass. Dude, how's that going to work? Horizon Forbidden West will also be available on PS4, but Guerrilla Studio director Angie Smets told Wired about something that the PS5 players in particular will be able to look forward to thanks to the DualSense improved haptic feedback. Horizon Forbidden West is a long-awaited sequel to the Horizon Zero Dawn, which came out in 2016, dude, and then it launched in 2020 on PC. You played that one, Scott.
Yes, I got into that one on PC, and I don't think it lost anything in translation.
No, dude, it just got better. Like, that game is so good. I'm curious to see how the DualSense, like, that's all the article said. It didn't say anything else about how the DualSense controller is going to play into effect when you're doing anything in the tall grass, or how, like, we have seen the pressure of the bow. Like, Aloy uses the bow and arrow all the time in her game in Horizons. So to see that was no big surprise, right? If anybody's touched the DualSense controller or have not, explain it to you, the way it works is that if you actually push down halfway on the controller, it kind of stops in a sense, and then forces you to really kind of squeeze the rest of the trigger all the way. So when you have the bow and arrow, you may be able to pull back part way, but then you get that final back pull, you have to really squeeze on the trigger. I can see that coming into effect. I don't see that anybody using this when it comes to the world of multiplayer, but when it comes to hiding in tall grass, dude, how does that make any sense? Is that dude, it's gotta be like a crouch mechanic, right?
Yeah, or if it just, are you gonna feel the kind of things brushing past you through the articulated feedback? I haven't experienced it myself, so I'm not sure what the limits are there, but it seems quite capable of conveying a lot of different feelings.
Absolutely. The DualSense rumble in the controller is just taking my game experience to that other level, right? Like, I talked about Returnal and how the raindrops hit the suit, and then, like, there's a light rumble effect in the controller. Oh my god, dude, I'm so pumped. I cannot wait for Horizon Forbidden West. I want to see what this whole haptic feedback and stuff has to do with the game. I'm excited as all can be, if you can't tell. Scott, we're getting late in the show like we normally do, but let's get into what game announcements and releases are out today.
All right. Well, we have something in the way of Sims 4 news. It's been a little while since that released. I'm quite surprised to see there's that new release is coming up. But this summer, brighten up spaces with the natural sunlight and welcome a refreshing breeze with the Sims 4's Courtyard Oasis Kit. Okay. This is specifically curated for the Sims players who want to design a serene and stylish oasis at the center of their homes. And it uses vibrant and harmonious pieces inspired by the raids of Morocco.
Nice.
And that sounds quite interesting. There's more creativity options coming to Sims. That doesn't surprise me, but the depth. When will it ever end? The depth of the Sims is just unreal. That's a little bit of an update, a little bit of a DLC, but we do have full titles releasing today, starting with Famicom Detective Club on the Switch. Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition, that is I don't know if remaster is the right word for it, but it is the re-release of the trilogy, and that comes to PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Then there is a title, Quantum Replica, coming to the Xbox One, PS4, and the Switch. Subnautica, the original, has a release on Switch now. And that comes in addition to Subnautica Below Zero, that is the sequel title, and that is on the Switch, the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and the Series X and S.
That's awesome, Scott. That'll wrap up today's show, everybody. Thank you for joining us for ITG Daily, the one show that brings you all the hottest in gaming news. Don't forget, we are live tomorrow with the Covenant House with their main mission charity stream. You can join us at noon at twitch.tv/Covenant House TO, where the ITG crew will be live all day helping along with the stream and come support a great cause. Until next week, everybody, have a great weekend, and we'll see you inside the game.